All right, welcome to Sticks and Sips, episode 32. This is Frankie Drinks here. Welcome to the show. And listen, what a monster show I have for you tonight. We're celebrating so many great things that I'm like ecstatic about what we've got going on this evening. So listen, this is a Drew Estate virtual happy hour. So I welcome all of you guys that are on Facebook Landia, as like my good friend JD likes to call it. And I welcome you to check in from wherever you're at. Get on the chat, say something cool. Listen, we've got an incredible menu for you tonight. So I'm going to ask my good friend Jack Hare to throw up the menu. Listen, what's a happy hour without a cocktail? I'm doing a maple bacon old fashioned with piggyback tonight to get us going. Our sips, I'm going to feature our beautiful WhistlePig 10-year-old straight rye whiskey. I'm so excited about that. And my special guests, I've got Ingrid Rodriguez from WhistlePig. I've got Ryan Rayford, Drew Estate territory manager. And I've got Dwayne and Jarrett from Cigars. And we may have a special guest tuning in later. The stick for tonight, what else am I going to feature? I'm going to feature the Liga Privada number 9 Flying Pig. If you guys know what I'm talking about, this is it. This is it. This is that beauty that you need to get your hands on. And what a great pairing we've got for you guys. Plus, I am giving away a couple of Undercrown glasses, plus some unique Sticks and Sips swag. So all you guys have to do is hashtag Ask Frankie Drinks. Ask me a question to the show or ask a question to any of our guests tonight. And we're going to pick 5 great questions. And if you get picked, you win. So let's get going. Listen, first I'm going to check into the Zoom lounge. So let's go around here. Let's go into Cigars. We got Dwayne and Jarrett. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Yeah, appreciate you having us, man.
Dude, we are. I'm so excited to have you guys on. Special thanks to Ryan for getting you guys on with us, and we'll circle back to you guys, and we'll talk about Drew Estate Cigars and Flying Pigs and WhistlePig whiskey. So super excited. Thank you so much for joining us. Next up, I got my man, Ryan Rayford. What's happening, brother? How you doing?
What's good, Frankie? You doing all right over there?
Yeah, man. I'm here at the Drew Estate Studios, going live to the world, man. We're going live. You know how we do, right?
He's got 3 bottles of WhistlePig around him. He's doing just fine.
Yeah, and
I'm doing just fine. How you doing?
Got some WhistlePig. Just lit up my number 9 Flying Pig. Enjoying my Wednesday, trying to see what's going on tonight, man.
Well, I'm super happy that you're with us again, and we'll come around to you, Joey, my man. 32 weeks strong, man. 32 weeks strong. We've been with Sticks and Sips, Drew Estate Virtual Happy Hour. How you doing tonight?
It's good. It's really the weather's changing again now, so it's nice and cool outside. It almost feels like episode 80.
Yeah. Listen, it's nice and cool anytime we dip below 80. So we're at that nice, for the rest of America, balmy 79. For us, I'm wearing my fur boots and a coat. So, so that's how we do, right? That's how we do. So welcome back. And listen, always awesome to have you on. And last but not least, my honored guest, Ingrid. How you doing?
Hi, guys. I'd be smoking cigar, but that cold weather up here is too cold for me to be outside.
Right, but you're talking about you're like in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
In Tampa, so she's got to need a protective bubble with heating, because that's how we do in Florida. So Ingrid, I'm so honored to have you on, and we're going to talk about great things. But listen, this is the Drew Estate Virtual Happy Hour. So what's a happy hour without a cocktail? So I'm going to ask Jack to throw on the cocktail I'm making today. And this is the maple bacon old fashioned, which kind of like got me thinking about like what to do with WhistlePig and how to make a really great cocktail. So real simple. I've got like 2 ounces of piggyback that I fat washed. So listen, you guys, I'll teach you how to fat wash a cocktail, but basically it's the idea of putting some bacon in and letting it sit and then filtering it out and getting all that essence of that beautiful bacon in your piggyback. And then I'm hitting it with this beautiful, about half an ounce, maybe a little bit less, you know. It's about maybe a third of an ounce of this beautiful WhistlePig that I've got, like maple syrup that I've got aging for a long time. And I'm going to hit it with little Angostura orange bitters because I think that's a nice blend. So Jack, if you want to throw directions on while I'm making it so everybody can see. So basically you want to fill a mixing glass and you want to be able to stir it and get it all around. You want to make sure that you've got it super chilled and you get it diluted very, very nicely. And this thing's making a whole bunch of noise because I've got this big block ice that I love using. And then what you want to do is you want to get a nice fresh glass with a neat, beautiful large cube. And then you want to go ahead and strain it into that. And listen, you know, I'm not big on the fancy garnishes. I know you guys out there love all that fancy stuff, but I am going to put a little strip of bacon in there because that's how I do. So
I would have drank it right out of the big glass myself. But.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here's your maple bacon old fashioned featuring piggyback 6-year-old rye. And I say cheers to you. So raise your glass tonight for bringing us together. You know, COVID's given us that opportunity to come together virtually. So cheers to you guys. Oh man, that is so good. I may make myself another one before this show's over. So I
gotta make one for Jack.
No, he ain't getting one. He needs to be on point. Jack, you are recording this show, aren't you? All right. So, you know, Jack is recording this show. So if you guys, you know, spread the word, you guys can watch it on replay because this night's going to be big. So I'm going to get to my first guest and she's a senior steward and I'm going to have her tell you exactly. She's your steward for WhistlePig for Florida and Georgia. She's an amazing person. She was a former president of the Tampa Bay United States Bartenders Guild. She is the current board representative for the United States Bartenders Guild, and just got reelected. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
She was one of the founders of the Tampa Bay Repeal Day celebration. If you guys ever had a chance to go out there, that's such a great festival, great time. And then last but not least, she's a general contractor. So you wouldn't believe it, but that's what she does. You know, she does that too. So she does a whole lot of things. So I want to welcome Ingrid to the show. Ingrid, welcome.
Hi, Frankie. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on talking all things WhistlePig. So I'm going to pepper you with the first question. You know, tell us the story of WhistlePig.
So I will tell you the story that I know. I've been with WhistlePig for 5 years, so we some of the stories have come and gone, but the main story about WhistlePig is that it was founded in 2007 with Raj Bhakta and Dave Pickerel. Dave Pickerel came from the Maker's Mark Hall of Fame. He was working with them for a long time and really wanted to open up a rye. The actual name WhistlePig though comes from our farm and not the other way around. We named our whiskey after our farm. Raj and Dave got together and they strolled on up to Canada and they were like, hey, I heard you have some good rye that you are very, very mistakenly blending into something else. And the gentleman at the time, Mr. Kozak, was like, yeah, try this. Do you like it? And they were like, yes, we're going to buy all of it. And that's the real story. That's how we started. And then we very, very wisely hired Jeff Kozak to work for WhistlePig. He is now our CEO. And within a few years, we had launched our 10-year and since then it's been like wildfire. We have so many, we have 6 to 8 SKUs at any different time now. We're always innovating. Even through COVID, we created something new. Unfortunately, as you know, Dave passed away a few years ago, but it didn't miss a beat. Everybody at WhistlePig really has the same palate and the same drive to continue growing the rye market. It's been a lot of fun. Shortened version.
And
I gotta keep it
that was
clean.
super short. I mean, because I know like the impact WhistlePig has had on the market for whiskey has been quite phenomenal. And I think everybody that's a cigar smoker, a whiskey enjoyer, knows the mark. And go into a little bit about like why rye whiskey. What was it that drove Dave and Raj at that time to really focus on rye?
Well, the focus on rye came from Dave. Dave had been asked to reopen the George Washington Distillery in Mount Vernon. Of course, I love to tell the story. In 1799, George Washington, our US president, was the largest distiller in the United States and paid the most amount of taxes. So when you think about that whole whiskey rebellion, he was legitimately like, if I'm paying, you're paying. But when he went to go do that, he started working. He had never worked with rye before. He was always a bourbon guy, and mash bills are completely different. And he wanted to really stay true to how Americans would have made rye whiskey in the early part of our settlements. So in the 16 and 1700s, he asked around, asked the Scotch guys and all that, like what processes would have been done. And he found working with rye to be so fickle. He fell in love with it. He was a chemical engineer and a chemist by heart. So when he started working with rye and realized like one little differential can completely change a batch, he just was like, I want to do this. I'm challenged. This is great. At the time, Maker's Mark, he walks up to him and he's like, I want to make a rye. And they're like, yeah, we can't even get people to drink bourbon. So he was like, well, I think it's going to happen. He's like, the American palate, Maker's Mark was like, the American palate is never going to do this. It's way too spicy. We're talking about the 90s when people were cosmopolitans and super sweet drinks and all the craze of the vodka world was happening. There was nobody that was really buying whiskey. Nobody foresaw what's going on currently, the brown spirit renaissance. But he was like, no, I'm going to do this. And Maker's Mark very mistakenly said, well, look, if you can get someone to do this for you, we'll let you out of your contract. And that was the move from bourbon into rye whiskey and the challenge that it presented. WhistlePig, he's worked for a lot of brands. He definitely helped a lot of people, but working for WhistlePig was his baby. This was his dream to come to fruition, to finally give back the original American whiskey spirit, which would have been rye.
I love that story. I'm going to jump back a little bit.
Sure.
So Ingrid, how did you get started with WhistlePig? Because I love this story.
So you mentioned that I started that I was working with the Tampa Bay Repeal Day conference. I had been part of the Tampa Bay Repeal Day party, but then we into Tampa decided to go bigger and better. But because of that, my name started getting out there. At the time, I was only the treasurer of the USBG. I was still 100% active in construction, in restoration construction, as opposed to any type of spirit. But I got invited to this event called Camp Run Amok out in Kentucky. Camp Run Amok is an event that is hosted by Lush Life, and they send 250 bartenders, the best bartenders and best hospitality people from around the world, to Kentucky to do a very, very difficult week of laybacks by the fire pit, mandatory pool parties, paintball boulevardiers, really, really difficult week. But I was lucky enough to go. I was much older than most of the people there, and I was still doing construction. So one night I was by the fire pit and I was doing payroll while everybody else was having fun. And Dave just thought it was the most interesting thing to see someone actively working. So we sat down and started talking, and I have an engineering background as well. So I always tell us, like, we bonded over laybacks of WhistlePig, talking about hexane gas and polymers, like very awkward thing to do at Camp Run Amok while everyone else was like having this great amount of time. But I did get payroll in time, which was very important. My construction guys would have been really mad at me. But from that point forward, we became besties, and a couple of years later, WhistlePig had a job, and ironically, I was going to be interviewing with two manufacturers for construction that same day. He called me up. I was in beautiful Puerto Rico, and he was like, "Hey, you want to work for WhistlePig?" And I'm like, "Master distiller calls you to work for the brand. The answer is yes." So I was like, "Sure, I'll try it." Never sold anything in my life. When I worked in construction, I was the no person, so nobody liked me. I was like, I don't know if I could do this, but I'd already been drinking the product. So I loved it, and I was obviously very passionate about it, and I had a very good relationship with Dave. So within the next few years, I'm now part-time construction and full-time whiskey, and it's been a hell of a trip. I've seen WhistlePig through many iterations. Raj is no longer with us either. We have new investment groups. There's constantly new people. I'm one of the oldest running people at this point in time. We're still a small company, but we're in all 50 states and 19 different countries now. So we're very proud of that.
Listen, your story with WhistlePig, to me, I always love it and honor it. When I started craft spirits, I reached out to people that were in the industry, and you were WhistlePig, and you were like, absolutely, I'll come down and do the festival. And it was so great to see a brand like WhistlePig be part of what we poured that night. And it was and to have you behind the table pouring this amazing spirit, which again was kind of new to a lot of people.
Especially
Yeah, exactly, in South Florida, and people like just gravitating towards the table. I told Ingrid, I was looking for a picture from the early years when she's working the table. Now she manages people, but she was working the table and teaching people about WhistlePig, and they were just so enamored with it. And we're on the third floor, all these tables, and there's a huge crowd, and I can't even get close to where you're at, and I'm just like watching from the outside. He goes like, that table is hot. That's all I could say. That table is hot. People are loving that spirit. So it's amazing how we go forward in time, and WhistlePig has become part of our lexicon for I would say the stalwart of what is rye whiskey in our world, and leading the charge with that. So let's talk a little bit more about Dave, because he holds a special part for everyone here. Dave Pickerel is an icon in whiskey, and I'll let Ingrid take it from there. Go ahead, take your sip, and I'm gonna take my sip, and then we'll talk about Dave, because we always have to toast to Dave Pickerel before, and we'll toast to Dave Pickerel after.
Sure. Dave was the most kind man you had ever met. When you had the opportunity to speak to him, he made you feel like you were the only person in the room. Even if it was at an event, no matter what you were doing. I tell the story of trunk whiskey, which is funny because I now call it purse whiskey, because obviously drinking and driving frowned upon. But if you ever had the opportunity to run into Dave, he lived in Kentucky. He had this beautiful white Cadillac. What he would do is he would park it out somewhere, and then he would go in and sit at the bar, and if he knew you or just met you, he'd invite you out to his car. He'd pop open his trunk, and he would say, pick something. And he would pull 2 glasses out of his pocket, because he always seemed to have tasting cups and pens on him. He knew he was signing something somewhere. And he would say, pick something. And it could be anything. Like, as a master distiller, if you ever get the chance to hang out with them, they tend to have stuff in their pockets that is never going to be released. Special things to them. Maybe someone from Scotland sent him a 35-year-old Scotch, or maybe there's a Pappy in there. And he would say, just pick a whiskey. And he would pop it open, crack it, and pour a dram. And he would just sit there and start asking them questions about their life. Dave traveled a lot. He always said he lived in Mother Marriott and Father Hilton. He was about 363 days of the year on the road. So the people that he met were really the stories that he carried with him. And he loved to he didn't tell anyone secrets, but he would use those stories when he was kind of relating to other people. One of the things that I got from it, because I had the luxury of, when I first worked for WhistlePig, a week after I got hired, I went to Kentucky, and he happened to be there. So I got to experience this firsthand. He said, he's like, in every bottle of, let's say, WhistlePig, if it's a 750, you have 12 opportunities to share a dram with someone and create a memory that could last forever. bartenders and people who drink whiskey, like what you're drinking and what you're doing has such an impact on your life. Like people give whiskey for weddings, for new babies. I mean, Boss Hog, of course, is one of those that's constantly given out for winning championships. So the whiskey becomes part of that story. And Dave really wanted people to know that, you know, whiskey is meant to be drank. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to enjoy moments. And I feel like everyone at WhistlePig really kind of carries that forward with them. Even with Dave's passing, I will tell you, it was the oddest funeral I'd ever been to. It was in a Marriott. There were lots of whiskeys because he worked for the brands. It was also 5 hours. But there was so much bonding going on, and we all cared so much about the legacy that he left, not just for rye whiskey, for bourbons, for different gins. There are so many distilleries that he worked with. I can go into, I'm not going to name too many other brands, but when I go into a liquor store, it's really heartening for me to see all of these brands that he helped launch, and some that are still coming that have just waited for whiskey to age. I definitely was lucky to have him as my mentor and one of my best friends.
Well, listen, I'm gonna share a memory with us. You know, Ingrid is a monster in the best sense, in that she's so good at what she does. And we're at Tales of the Cocktail. So if you guys don't know, this is the big gathering industry professionals in New Orleans every July, except for this last one, and for obvious reasons. But we're at the WhistlePig house, and you know, I roll in because I've been graciously invited by Ingrid, and we're hanging with Dave. And you know, I bring in my Drew Estate cigars, and we kind of trade cigars. And you know, he was a cigar lover. You know, that's one of the things that people need to know a little bit about Dave, is like he loved the cigars.
Yeah.
You know, loved whiskey, loved cigars. And so we're in this patio, and it's probably about 95 degrees, right? And we're all hot, and we're sweating, and we're drinking this
Didn't it
great
just rain?
WhistlePig.
Didn't it stop raining? And that's
Oh
what
my
was
God, it was, yeah, the humidity was unreal. You know, I'm like, I'm dying. I don't think I could even light this cigar because the humidity is like so, you know, incredible, because that's New Orleans. And we have this great time with you and Dave smoking cigars. And I've got some other, like, you know, great, great stories. Listen, I'm at Benny's, so I'm going to share this one with you.
okay.
I'm at Benny's doing their, you know, before Whiskey Fest, they do their own Whiskey Fest,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the day before. And I've got my, you know, the founder of Drew Estates with me. We were doing our limited edition brand that we were doing this thing. And, you know, I'm working with the brand, and, you know, we see Dave, you know, Dave rolls in, and you can't miss him. He's, you know, he's a big man, you know, and he's got the big cowboy hat. And I've got my boy JD, you know, going over, and I lean over and go, yo, there's Dave Pickerel. You know, he's trying to make his way over to us, you know, and but there's a big crowd, and it's kind of tight. And he yells out, yo, player, come try some of the real stuff.
That's
And
him.
you know, and Dave just gives us, you know, the peace sign.
Yeah.
He jets out, but he came back later, and we had a great time. And I love Dave for the time he gave, for the time he gave me, for the time he gave the people that love the whiskey, and the opportunity to really learn. And I've got, like, you know, my friend's Dave Schmier, and he tells me all these stories about how Dave Pickerel helped him, you know, launch Redemption and all these great brands. And he's such an icon, and I celebrate him along with you.
Thank
Because
you.
he's such an icon, you know. So every time you pick up a Maker's Mark, understand this was a guy that for 25 years, you know, held that brand, and WhistlePig was his, you know, his passion project. So when you drink that, think of Dave. I honor him, and everyone raise your glass and cheers to Dave, man. We
Cheers.
love you. We love you
Cheers to
too.
that.
Cheers.
That's a great. It's a great legacy to pass on. When it's not only your products that live on, it's the influence you had with the people that surrounded you, and that's amazing testament to the man. I never got to meet him, but I've met so many other people that have met him, and it's everybody has that same warm, amazing story to tell about how gracious he was with them. So that's an amazing thing. So cheers to that.
I want to
Absolutely.
share a funny story if I've got a few moments.
Absolutely.
So Dave was well known by all the distillers in Kentucky, and he and I had the luxury of doing an event in Fort Walton Beach. It's the big, huge festival that they have up there, and WhistlePig and Maker's Mark were both in the VIP tent across from each other. And Rob Samuels was there, and of course, Dave's known Rob since he was a child. And they start throwing ice at each other across people's heads. And every time Rob pours someone a drink, Maker's Mark had their own cups. He purposely hid our tasting cups, and he would have the people bring over their Maker's Mark cup and pour WhistlePig in it and go, Rob, look at this. And I was like, that's hilarious. And then, I mean, for the rest of the day, we were all just joking around with each other, but it's really testament to how he's really affected so many people in whiskey, and that everybody loved him. He really didn't have too many enemies. And if it did, they're nobody I know personally, but I think that there's nobody in the whiskey world that wouldn't say that Dave Picker was fundamental in bringing this brown spirit renaissance to its fruition.
That's that's so well said, because it was true. It was true, is true. There couldn't be anyone bigger, than Dave, and we know at the end he worked with so many great brands, and those brands are now still coming into the world, and we definitely honor him. But I want to honor WhistlePig as kind of this beauty of this new concept that we drove home. WhistlePig drove home rye whiskey, and where do you see the future for rye whiskey?
Rye whiskey is one of the biggest growing markets right now in the whiskey world. You're going to see most of the brands are. It's so funny. They all have the green label. I was so mad at WhistlePig when we finally made a green label, because I was like, let's buck the trend. But you're seeing every single distillery is coming out with a rye, whether it's a sourced rye or it's their own rye, a young rye or new rye. It's one of the hottest markets, and there's a reason for that. The American palate is getting challenged. Dave used to say that, going back to what I said about Maker's Mark, the American palate back when we first came out was still very, very much on the sweet side. So a lot of the rye that was being used were being used in cocktails, Boulevardiers, Manhattans, old fashions, because people still wanted to get into whiskey and be the sophistication of those old cocktails, but still sweet. What's happening now, and Cigars pairs right alongside this, is that as people's palates start getting older and more matured and more challenged, or let's say they start cooking for themselves and they're tasting different types of food, bourbons are becoming way sweeter. So what's happening is people are moving into the rye world and into the Scotch world to really continue that challenge. The best thing is, and WhistlePig does this pretty frequently, is that we like to innovate. I always call us approachable luxury. There's something in our line for everybody, but that farm stock line that we have, or this year, that home stock version, which is actually not a rye, it's an American whiskey, but it gives us the ability to say, oh, you don't like rye? I challenge you. What do you drink? And for the most part, when people say they don't like rye, it's maybe because they've had a rye that was too bitey, or what we call barley rye, which is mostly corn, and maybe it's 51% rye. If they tell me what they drink in my line of whiskey, I can usually find them what they're going to like, whether that's piggyback, which is delicious, or all the way up to one of our Boss Hogs. And sometimes I say to them, you know what, your palate is actually perfect for farm stock too. It's hard to find, but if you find it, I recommend please buying a pour of that and trying that. Most people just need to try something once to figure out if they like it. And rye is not going anywhere. You're going to see a ton of more ryes coming out. I get to watch all the labels coming. I know there's more ryes coming, but we love that we're the precursor to that. And I want to give some props out here to Greg Metz. Greg Metz was the master distiller for Indiana MGP. You can't think about a 95.5 rye without giving him credit. Dave would always want to give him credit. He's moved on now to work for another distillery, but there are a ton of ryes out there. If that's that 95.5 Indiana blend, you've got both Dave and Greg to thank for that.
That's awesome. And so listen, I'm going to take a break from the programming, and I know I have my man Rich Lai, who's just tuned in, but he, he's got his, I think he's trying to get settled in, and I don't believe.
Collection there.
So listen, I'm going to ask my man Jack.
I love that
throw
shirt.
on like the slide that's after our sticks. So if you can find that, so because I want everyone to take a look at this. It's right after our sticks. So that right there is a small part of Mr. Rich Lai's collection of WhistlePig.
Nice.
So with that, I'm going to welcome my man, Rich Lai, to Sticks and Sips. How are you, Rich?
I'm honored, Frank. Thank you for having me on, especially with Ingrid on. I've been chatting with Ingrid offline for a while now, trying to get her to come on.
well, listen, Rich, you are the preeminent dude for all things, not only Drew Estate, but whiskey based. And I know your love for like WhistlePig, but not only that, but your love for Dave Pickerel and what he means. Talk to me about your love for WhistlePig, man. Where does it come from?
Have a safe trip home.
It started years ago just because literally the pig and Flying Pig for Drew Estate was a big impact for me, and so I thought I'd try it, and I loved the rye, and I started progressing through the different ryes, and I finally got to the 15, and I just love the 15. I'll go through bottles of the 15.
My favorite.
And then I tried the 15, is the single barrel or barrel proof. It's 115 proof or whatever. Kicks the shit out of me, but tastes yummy. But I still I like the regular 15. And then of course I have to have all the Boss Hogs. And then so I try the Boss Hogs, and I just had to crack the Magellan just to try it.
So good.
And it's a spice bomb for me. It's like the holidays in your mouth. I don't have a great palate. I can't compare.
That's a lot of bullshit there, Rich.
No.
For the most extensive palates.
It is
in cigars and whiskey.
Oh, true. It's legitimately like
yeah, I know what I like, and I know I can't compare. I'm not one of those minds that could compare different flights. I have to have them side by side, wash my mouth and do it. And I just did it with the 5, 6, and 7, just to remind myself.
Ooh, so different.
And it's the 7 is just for me. It's a spice bomb. I don't know. Is that what's in it?
To be fair, it's all about personal palate. That spiciness that you're getting is the South American teakwood, which is Amburana. The nose that you get on that is the Spanish oak, but Amburana creates an oil barrier that goes between the wood and the liquid. So that's why it was only aged for 3 days. It's extraordinarily really, really cinnamon forward. It's also got a lot of maple profiles. I'm pretty sure if you bought it in Florida, it's 116 proof. No, sorry, 106 proof. It is one of the lower ones, but even that proof, that because of it's so cinnamon, it just tastes hotter. What I love about all the Boss Hogs, I just did a dinner at Burn Steakhouse where we did 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in a row. Thankfully, there was food in between those and lots of water. And the pairings help to cleanse your palate between each one because they're so variantly different. The thing about the Boss Hogs is if someone says to me, I don't like Boss Hog 7, but I really like Boss Hog 4. And I can be like, well, you probably just prefer Armagnac and the finishes that you get there, that more of that Fruit Loop, the sweeter finish.
Yeah, exactly.
Cinnamon. I mean, I know people that hate cinnamon. I had someone do this the other day, and he's like, I hate cinnamon. I was like, oh, you shouldn't drink that. He was pretty mad at me after that, actually.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Which one was your favorite?
Out of these two, I think let's see,
Five?
I'm looking at it. It's the 5 was more mellow for me. It was more, I guess, approachable.
Mm.
I know that the Samurai was pretty powerful for me.
So Samurai is tricky. Samurai has 5 different flavor profiles, and depending on the barrel that you got, will have a different initial front palate. I had the luxury last year. I was covering South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and within 3 days, I had tried 3 different barrels. All of our Boss Hogs, of course, are single barrels. You'll notice what barrel it is and what proof it is on the bottle, and all 3 of them had completely different starter palates. So you'll either get fatty, smoky, delicious bacon. You can get lychee. You can get that plum wine or the umeshu finish. You can get that high spice, or there's a floral component. So when people say to me, I didn't like Boss Hog 6, I'm always like, go somewhere else, find a different barrel and try it again, especially if someone else is paying. And because it may be completely different than your initial. Like trying 3 in a row enabled me to pick that up and actually share that experience with everybody else and say, okay, look, it's very specific. Whereas like the Boss Hog 3, 4, and 5, because it's only that one single barrel, which was the Hogshead Scotch, the Armagnac, and the Calvados, those are very, very specific, and all of the barrels aged pretty much at the same time. The umeshu was actually seasoned and then finished, and that finishing process has a little bit of a different profile.
So I have barrel 60 and 23 of number 6.
Yeah, so you probably get that floral funk when you first try it. As you taste through it, the savory bacon comes in more on your back of your palate.
Listen, these guys are talking about like some esoteric and beautiful spirits, but I'm going to ask Jack to kind of bring it back and go with what most people can find, and that's that WhistlePig 10. So so Ingrid, I'm gonna dial it back,
Sure.
because when people come, go to the local liquor store, they're gonna find I guess their first iteration of WhistlePig is either Piggyback or WhistlePig 10. So what can you tell us about WhistlePig 10?
So if you find Piggyback, great. We're on 39 states. I love Piggyback. Florida, of course, being one of them. WhistlePig 10 is our flagship product. It is 100 proof. It is 100% rye. It's going to have those. We used to be single barrel, but now we actually do a blend of about 5 barrels or so to get to a very specific flavor profile, which is something that WhistlePig's been waiting to do. So when you get a new 10-year with a newer label, what you're going to get is maybe some spearmint. You're going to get some orange zest that's in that. Of course, the cinnamon, the cardamom, the clove. If you put some water in it, which I always tell everyone, I don't care how you drink your whiskey, just drink whiskey. If you want to put water in it, ice, Coke, it's up to you. But when you do try it, you have to remember that this is 100 proof whiskey. So don't put it right to your nose and breathe in. You're going to get all those alcohols and it's going to affect your palate. Your nose is your palate before your mouth is. So if you burn out your olfactories, and you guys know this in the cigar world, if you can't smell anything, you can't taste anything. So when you try the 10-year, the 10-year is going to give you everything that should be in a rye whiskey. It is a traditional rye. It is a rye drinker's rye. It is the one that's going to give you the spice notes, the roundedness, that earthiness, all of that encompassed into one. Now, when we scroll back and we look at Piggyback, Piggyback is the 6-year age distillate of 10-year. So 10-year is 10 years aged, but it's the same one as the 6-year. Those 4 years is what's making the difference here. The other difference is that Piggyback is 96.56 proof. 56 is paying homage to Dave. He was born in 1956. So that was our way of permanently encapsulating him into the brand that we are. But those tasting notes are citrus, very like grapefruit. You get honey. You'll get a little bit of those spice notes, but it is going to be slightly on the sweeter side. Piggyback, I can tell you, I put whiskey in everything. I change every cocktail I make. I've done Bloody Marys, French 95s. I've changed Palomas. The other day, I did a banana daiquiri using piggyback. If I can change and put whiskey in a cocktail, it is happening. I will tell you, WhistlePig is running a competition right now. So if any of my coworkers are like listening, I'm gonna win. I made 5 quarts of coquito with piggyback.
Oh,
Like,
hell yeah.
not even trying. It's so good.
Puerto
But-
Rico in the house. So, coquito, that's a Puerto Rican specialty, so if you like eggnog, you need to step up your game and go up to coquito. So, with that,
Yes.
Ingrid, listen, I'm gonna go over to the cigar side because we've had such a great time with WhistlePig whiskey right now. And now I want to talk about the Drew Estate side. So I want to welcome my man, Ryan Rayford. Ryan, welcome to Sticks and Sips yet again, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Just picking up some of this WhistlePig knowledge, and enjoying the 10-year rye. Picked up a little something.
So delicious, right? Incredibly delicious. And now with Ingrid telling us about all that goes into it, and you're enjoying it with that flying pig, man. So
damn right, bro. That's why I'm here.
Oh, there you go, man. So tell us about that. Listen, I'm gonna ask Jack. Jack, throw up the stick so we know. It's Liga Privada. It's Connecticut broadleaf. It's Brazilian Matafina. It's a combo of Honduran Nicaraguan filler together that makes that beautiful profile of what Liga number 9 is. But what is it about that Liga 9 and about that pig that makes it so amazing for you?
Oh man, the flying pig, first of all, it's seasonal. So you can't just get it whenever you feel like going out to a store and getting it. So we drop them about twice a year. And the size is very unique too. It's a vitola that comes from the very, very old days of cigar making. And we brought it back. I believe 2009 is when the Liga 9 Flying Pig hit shelves. And then the T52 was in 2010. So it's a small, beautiful, perfecto Gordo with 60 gauge. It packs a punch, man, and it takes a while to smoke through it. So you get that robust flavor, but you're getting it in a very exquisite size, and it's identifiable. If you go to any lounge and someone's smoking a flying pig, you can see it from the other side of the room. So it makes a statement when you're smoking one of those.
Right, absolutely. And listen, and you would say, oh, this little short cigar takes that amount of time, and you're like absolutely right, because the beauty of the burn, the beauty of the flavor is what kind of brings us in. And Ingrid said she had some year of the rats, and she's like, you got to go with the 15. I'm like, I've only got the 12, because my man Rich, he set me at 12, so, but I always say it's the journey. It's a journey that you go through with cigars and with whiskeys, and you find that cigar that finds that perfect place with you. And with that, listen, we've got two great guests that are joining us, part of your accounts, Omerta Cigars, and listen, I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce them.
Well, this is a special treat. One of my retailers in OKC, Omerta Cigars, they have a bar and lounge in downtown Oklahoma City called Stag Lounge. They have a humidor there. They have a wall of whiskey and bourbon like you've never seen before when you go in there. So I want to introduce none other than Jared Jackson and Dwayne Poor. Dwayne has one of the largest private collections in the United States as well. The man knows what he's doing when he's drinking. So what's up, fellas?
How's it going, man? Thanks for the introduction.
Hey,
bro.
Ryan.
What's up, brother?
I'll give you a little story about we opened Stag Lounge about 7 years ago. And a couple of years in, about 2015, we brought in the Old World WhistlePig and really hit my palate with the Madeira and the Sauternes and great flavors. So when we were ready in the last year or so to do our very first single barrel for our bar, we decided we wanted a rye. And so we did a single barrel WhistlePig 10-year-old at 116.7 proof. We tasted through 5 different barrels, and we paired that barrel, those barrels, those picks, with a Liga Privada number 9 because we had a spicy, nice, big, bold cigar in front of us, and we were trying to find the perfect whiskey to go with it. And of those 5 WhistlePigs, all 10 years old, 4 of them totally disappeared, and this one stood alone by itself as being spicy and big and bold with a little cinnamon sweetness to it. And even at 116.7, you don't need any water, you don't need any ice. It stands up all by itself. So it's really nice to find a wonderful whiskey like WhistlePig that we could pair with a cigar like the Liga Privada number 9. And we bought the entire barrel and we sold through it with one of our local retailers pretty quickly. But we kept 35 bottles for the bar, and so it's always going to be available at Stag Lounge.
I look forward to trying that.
Come to Oklahoma City. We're ready for you.
We
All
also
right,
have
so-
the 12-year, the 15-year, the 18-year, and the last 2 Boss Hogs on the shelf too.
Awesome.
And so my little claim to fame, like Rich, and I appreciate you, Rich, for your collection, is I have every Boss Hog from the first Mortimer through the Magellan. And finding that number 1 bottle took me about 2.5 years.
Oh,
Congratulations. That's a hell of a collection. Yes.
Nice.
Number 1's hard to find.
It's very hard to find.
That's how we
Listen.
roll, y'all.
That's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen. Ryan said Omerta's real deal. These guys love their whiskey and they love their WhistlePig. So, I'm going to say you guys were incredible. And thank you for being on the show, right? But more importantly, that you guys have your own pick of WhistlePig, man. I'm so jealous right now. Ingrid, we need to take a trip, because, I don't think I could live like this,
We can make it all happen. Might have to be 2021. Vermont just cut down any travel, so the farm is closed.
I hear you. I hear
Hey,
you.
listen, Sips and Sticks live. From
Now,
Oklahoma City.
I have been to Rich's house, and listen, watching his incredible collection of whiskeys is amazing. But his incredible collection of WhistlePig is beyond anything in the world. His man loves his WhistlePig, and so cheers to you guys. For
Hunting it
supporting
down.
WhistlePig.
Cheers.
You gotta hunt it down.
You gotta hunt it down, man. This is a crusade of whiskey. So I'm gonna ask the Omerta guys. Listen, give us a quick story of Omerta. How did you guys get started?
I'll let you go ahead and start, Dwayne, since I came in a little bit
So
after.
about 2015, we were looking for a cigar place on the south side of Oklahoma City, and decided a small group of us got together and decided it's time to do something that no one's ever done. And a couple of years into it, we figured out we didn't know what the hell we were doing. So we brought in a guy named Jarrett Jackson to put it all together, an expert in cigars, an expert in business. And I'll let him tell a little more about what we've done with the brand and how we've built it.
So basically, what we did is my 2-year anniversary becoming the managing partner was last Friday. So, congratulations to that, Dwayne. It's been a good ride so far.
Yeah.
Here's to you,
cheers,
brother.
fellas. Yep, appreciate that. Really for us, what I try to do is take what cigars meant to me and put it into a business model. For us, it's about the atmosphere, the camaraderie between cigar smokers, whether it's 2 guys or a group of guys. We've expanded the lounge. We got 6,000 square feet here. We carry a large array of brands, and we've seen some tremendous growth. We've been very fortunate. We've went from mid 50 memberships to over 200 memberships now. We built a man cave room, which is what we're sitting in now, has video game consoles and TVs and dartboards and pool tables, and we really just try to make it a fun place to hang out. Everybody can buy cigars anywhere. You can go online and buy cigars. You can go to any shop and buy cigars. But what can we do to set ourselves apart and build a group of people who or have a common bond of wanting to relax, have a good drink, have a great cigar, and bond with each other as men and have the fellowship of the cigars. That's what it really was about for us. So if you ever come to any of our events, we always have a big food spread. And my most favorite thing I said from the very beginning is when you go to an event, and not this is no diss on anybody else, but when you come to our events, nobody's on their phone. Everybody's up, talking, relaxing, shooting pool, eating and being merry. And that's what it's about. This is a place for grown-ups to come relax after work and get away from the world's problems. So again, that's really been the driving force behind our success, in my opinion. And we have a great ownership group, the Little Page Group. There's 6 of us. I've just been lucky enough to be the managing partner. Lucky. you know,
Listen,
Oh
listen.
yeah. By the way, you gotta let the people know I own that pool table in the back.
well, last time he was here, I believe he lost a box, but I'm not going to mention that online.
That's fake news. I own that pool table back there.
Thank you, Mr. Rayford. Thank you guys from Romerta. Listen, we've got a sneak attack, and I'm gonna pivot here for a moment because I've got my man Willie Herrera that has joined us, and Willie. Willie's our master blender, so he holds a very low position at Drew State. He only blends all of our cigars. And with that, Willie, welcome, man. And I'm gonna start this with, listen, Drizzly won't deliver to your freaking address, bro.
Hey, it's all good, man. I made it happen. I'm good. I couldn't miss the show. I'm sorry I was late, but I had troubles with the computer and getting in and the whole thing. I had to send Jack a text. Hey man, send me the link again. So I'm glad I was able to make it.
So for everybody, that's on Facebook, everybody in the Zoom, Willie Herrera is the master blender. He's our equivalent to Dave Pickerel. He blends all these beautiful cigars for Drew State, and I'm so honored for him to be on with us, with Ingrid and with Joy, with Ryan and with Dwayne and Jarrett over at Omerta. Hey guys, we have a special moment. Willie's on, man. He's not swimming in the pool right now. He's hanging with us.
I can't remember the last time that happened, man.
Listen, it is what it is. I'm sure you're not swimming in the pool because it's like under 80. It's like 78 outside. So he's probably wearing a long coat.
This is what we call cold front in Miami.
Cold front, baby. We're freezing right now, right? 78. It's cold as shit.
It's beautiful.
So Willie, listen, I've got the beautiful Ingrid Rodriguez from WhistlePig, and I know you love WhistlePig, man. And I try to drizzly you, bro, but that shit ain't happening out there.
It's all good, man. I went on the
He's
hunt.
in the sticks. He's in the sticks over there.
You guys should let me know, because I know someone who ships in Miami that could have gotten him there.
Well, hey, I went on the hunt and I made it happen, and I got my little spread here. So I'm just glad to make it on here and absorb all this knowledge and all the information that I've been able to hear, since I got on here late. But it's great.
Willie, listen, if you could take a moment and talk to us not about Liga number 9, but about the Flying Pigs, man, because we've gone through 32 episodes and trying to get people to understand the blend is the blend, and it changes with the Vitola, and your experience with the size of that cigar changes. and trying to get people to understand that even though it's a blend you like, a Robusto is a Robusto, a box press is a box pressed, and a Corona Viva is a Corona Viva. And these give you different experiences, even though the blend's the same. So what can you say about our pigs, man? How does that change that perception for us as a smoker?
Man, the pig, because of its unique size, and I always say in all my events, exactly what you just said. You can smoke 5 different sizes of one line, which is all the same blend, and all 5 sizes are going to taste very different. They're all going to hit you different. It's all about, the ring gauge, the length of the cigar. It's the shape of the cigar. If it's a torpedo, it's going to hit your palate different just because of how it tapers off in the end and it hits your palate a certain way. Similar to when you smoke a regular cigar, if you straight cut, if you punch, or if you do a V cut, that's going to change the way that particular cigar is going to hit your palate. Even that same Vitola, it'll hit you 3 different ways depending on how you cut that cigar. So with the pig, because of the ring gauge, because of its shape, how it's, it starts off tapered, it ends up tapered. It'll give you one type of profile when you're initially lighting that cigar up, and as it goes opening up from that tapered end, it start opening up, and you start getting other flavors of the tobaccos and of that blend. And as you get to the middle part of that cigar, you got the middle, thicker part of those leaves in that middle part of the cigar. So you get more of that robust, more of that body, not necessarily so much of that kick and that spice you get in the front end of it, because you're getting to that thicker part of the leaf within that cigar. And it's unique. There's nothing else like it. There's no other cigar that will smoke or taste like that. It's a journey, like you say.
You took my line, man. It's a journey, and every iteration of Vitola is a journey. So as you try, I would say if you like the 10-year, stick with the 10-year and try the Liga Privada and try Corona and try a Flying Pig and try Corona Viva and try Papas Fritas and see the experience change. And because the Vitola is such a big part of it, I'm being told by the producers, I have to tell you guys, hashtag Ask Frankie Drinks, because we got a couple of glasses and we got some swag for you, and we have such amazing people coming into to asking such amazing questions. So keep them coming. And with that, Willie, I'm going to go to Joey. Joey, first of all, before we get to your Mezcal Minute, because I know you own this piece of the show, so everybody, relax. We've got our Mezcal Minute coming. It's coming. But Joey, you're at the heart of this thing, So first of all, talk to us about the Flying Pig, and then I know you've got a little speech to give after that. So go ahead, hit it, man.
Yeah.
What is it about the Flying Pig, homie?
It really is a little magical stick. You smoke a lot of cigars, different shapes and sizes, but when you get to a Flying Pig, doesn't matter if it's the 9, the 52, any of the undercrowns that we do, even the KFCs, it's just a magical size that changes that perception of what you thought that blend was. And the 9 Flying Pig is just so extraordinary. It's just a powerhouse. You don't realize it at first. It sneaks up on you. So it's definitely like a creeper. Some people call it, it's a creeper. It definitely sneaks up on you because at the front, like Willie said, you get a little bit of that banging spice. It opens up, super nice and warm and chewy in the middle and dense. And then, my God, it just, if you get to the end of that cigar, you're like, whoa, yeah, it's super delicious. And it's great. And it looks great. It's fun. And that's really it. It's great to bring back something that was ancient. It was a Vitola that existed in the late 1890s, I believe, or early 1900s. So to bring that kind of shape and size back was really, 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 really cool. But we have something else to talk about.
Go ahead.
So we're fortunate enough to have a special guest on here who doesn't know it's coming, but it's the year of the rat. You know, it's the year of the rat, even though we're talking about pigs tonight. You might need 2 hands for that, Frankie. So the year of the rat, obviously a special year for us, but who's going to be the rat of the year? You know, who's going to get the honor of this trophy, rat of the year? And there's only one person. I think he's somewhere on this screen. Oh, there he is, Rich Lai. Rich Lai, I'm proud to announce that you are the winner of the first inaugural Rat of the Year trophy.
Yeah, baby.
Give it up to Rich Lai.
My man, Rich Lai, congratulations. Listen, there wasn't a better episode to give you this trophy, which you've worked so hard to get. And it's the beginning of a tradition. And what better person to give it to than to Mr. Rich Lai?
Yeah, he's done so much for us. He's just not he's not a customer who just buys our cigars. He is family. You know, he's a dear friend to so many of us. The work that he does in the groups, you know, if you're in a Facebook group with Drew Estate and Cigars, you know Rich Lai, because he's there. He's always, giving you, hints and tidbits and his wealth of experience. And so, yeah, he is a rat of a year. And I think if I'm not mistaken, you were born in the year of the rat. Is that true? If you were born in the year of the rat, that makes it even more special.
Wait a minute, is Rich getting emotional over there?
He is rat of the year.
Listen, before Rich gets emotional, listen.
It's the highest honor we can bestow upon an individual. I'm going to say
that we're starting a tradition. We're going to start a tradition tonight on Sticks and Sips, right here, where Rich gets the first rat of the year, because he is a rat,
Oh, yeah. He's the dirtiest rat.
He's the dirtiest rat of them all, whether it's WhistlePig whiskey that he gets. And, Ingrid, you're caught in the middle of this, and Rich is one of those guys that loves WhistlePig to no end, and Dave Pickerel as well. So what a great night to announce that Rich Lai is our rat of the year. So he gets this beautiful trophy. And more importantly is that he gets to pick next year's rat of the year. And so we're gonna honor Rich tonight. We're gonna honor WhistlePig. We're gonna honor Flying Pigs, Willie Herrera, Joey Drew, and everybody, the entire family, that we are bringing this trophy tonight to such a great person. And Rich,
speech.
Go ahead, man. Listen, this is it, man. That doesn't sound too well.
Here.
Congratulations, Rich.
So Rich,
Congratulations.
Say a couple of words, my brother, because we love you, and there's no one that's earned this more. And what you're going to cultivate for Drew Estate, what you've done, is honored tonight. And we look forward to the next year, where there's going to be another rat of the year, but you're the first, and you get to have a say and a seat at the table. And with that, Rich, say some words, brother. We love you, man. Congratulations.
And unmute yourself.
Yeah, that's a good start, because we're on Zoom and it's a thing,
I was saying muted. I'm drunk, first of all.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Hell yeah! We're drunk
No,
on WhistlePig, bitch.
I'm on my
This
fourth-
is how we
fourth
do.
glass, and here's to you all. I'm blessed.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hey, Rich. I'll be watching eBay like a hawk, brother. You better hold on. I will fly out there and whip your ass.
It won't happen, brother. It won't happen.
Rich,
That's not gonna go far from his sight, man.
Rich,
No,
you've
I don't know.
done so much. Listen, take your acceptance speech, man. I give you 30 seconds on my show. Do it, brother. Do it.
I don't have 30 seconds. I'm just honored to be a part of the family, honored to be friends with a lot of you all, honored with new friends that are on Facebook. The group's great, and we're cultivating new members, and I see more activity of new members, and that's all I can, hope for. The the work I do and the stuff I do is just because I love you guys and I love the product, I love the company. And, Jonathan's a dear friend, and as you all have become. And so I'm just truly blessed, truly honored. And with that, I'd like to announce my retirement.
Hey,
we
we're not
retired
I'll
you when we gave you this one. It's done, bro.
shit.
So
Let me get that puppy before I ever announce my retirement.
all right. You got it. You got it. Rich, for all you do for Drew Estate, for all you do for amazing whiskey brands that come on our show, and you support and you buy their product and you do everything and everything that you do to support Sticks and Sips and Drew Estate and WhistlePig and all those things. You are the most deserving person for the Rat of the Year. And this shit weighs a fucking ton, homie. So when you get it,
You'll know.
treasure it, and we love you. What a great night to be able to give this to you on a night where we have one of your most endeared spirits, when we have Joey and Ingrid and everybody on. And listen, next year we have a new year, Rat of the Year. So who is it going to be? And you're part of that conversation, and that's fantastic for us. So with that, everybody raise your glasses, because tonight we toast Mr. Rich Lai as Rat of the fucking Year. Yeah, that's right. I said it, bitches.
And it's been a
Rat of the
fucking year.
That's right.
It has been a fucking year too.
Oh, hell yeah. So no offense, Rich, it's 2020. So I don't know what that means, but we love you. And listen, I've got to get to some questions, because people asking me about stuff, and it's like, okay, so Keisha Bridges Miller, what would be a good whiskey pairing for the spiciness of the Flying Feral Pig? I'm gonna throw that to Joey. Joey, dude, Flying Feral Pig, man. So we get the Flying Pig in the feral version. So it's got to be something meaty.
It's the 15 all day.
15
All day.
for cigar smokers. So
Yeah, it's the 15. There's 15, 15, 15. That's it.
All right.
Easy answer.
Yeah, easy answer. Thank you, guys. It was so simple. Ingrid, Joey, 15-year. I'm not gonna put in my 2 cents here, because 15-year is money, as my boy JD likes to say. That's a money choice. So Feral Flying Pig, if you get your hands on it, amazing, and get the 15 years. So next up, Brian Merklin. At what age did Dwayne get serious about collecting Scotch? So this is to the Omerta boys. Dwayne, at what age did you get serious about collecting not only scotch but whiskey?
So I started collecting in 1997. So I've been doing it for 23 years, which was about 20 or about 34 years in.
Shit, bro. I'm not even that old.
You know, just turned 57 and
Just
just
kidding.
bought my 6,000th bottle of whiskey.
Wow.
6,000.
Yes, sir.
Impressive.
Man, I feel bad. I've only drunk my 5,000. I'm only 108, but I look like 62, on the show. So just so you know. But Brian Merklin, that was a hell of a question for Dwayne and a hell of an answer. Dwayne, my hat's off to you, brother. Phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. So next up, Ask Frankie Drinks. Jason Martin, which WhistlePig rye selection do you prefer? Okay, so my boy sent me the 12-year-old, the old world 12-year-old, and I had to take some time with it, because I'd had the 15 and I had the 10, and the 12 was a little different. But as I kept on drinking it, because as you can tell, it's not full, it was like, whoa, this is a completely incredible experience. And so I would say right off the get is like, you guys can get the 10-year, because if that's what you can get, amazing experience. If you can get to the 10 to the 12, great. If you can get to the 15, even better. But
I will say, 12
yes,
was,
Ingrid.
12 was Dave's favorite whiskey.
Listen, my man Rich Sly, the winner of Rat of the Year, though this had nothing to influence the vote, send me a 12-year-old Old World. And I said, this shit is uber complex, man. It's got some medicinal notes in it that the average rye drinker or the average whiskey drinker may not understand. But if you understand rye, it fits right in to what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I found the beauty in a 12-year-old in that. And much thanks to Rich, because and to find that from you, that Dave like that 12-year-old, to me it was like absolutely, because I thought it was like so magical in the way that there were so many elements coming to play, very different from the 15.
I do have a note on that. I hang out at Davidoff in Tampa very often, and I got to meet the master blender from Davidoff, and we got into a small little argument about cigars and whiskey. And what we finally
who was that master blender?
I'm not going to say.
But no, I don't want to. No, it's either Jeff or Tommy, and fuck those guys.
I'm not gonna say.
Anyway,
was that what I learned very quickly is I am a whiskey drinker that enjoys to smoke cigars. He was a cigar smoker that enjoys whiskey. So when you're actually smoking and drinking at the same time, depending on which side you're coming from, the 12-year and the 15-year are often going to be very different. Like for me, the 12-year is relatively sweet. So when I smoke a cigar, I want something much more bold with dual palate that's going to really kind of kick up my notch. That's the 15. But there are certain cigars pair really well with the Sauterne and the port and all the finishes that are in the 12. So if whoever we're talking to, whichever side you're actually on, I'd recommend trying them both. Because if you're a cigar drinker that, like a smart cigar smoker that drinks whiskey, you may prefer the 12 over the 15-year.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, what is it that you want at the end of your palate? Do you want the cigar or do you want the whiskey? And you have opportunity, and that's the great part, right? And Tommy, because I know who you're talking about. And Tommy, I love you, brother. Listen, you go either way. The whiskey or the cigar. Love you nonetheless. And if you go to Sand Lake, ask for my man H, because I love his, his take on cigars and whiskey. H, love you, brother. And Jeff, we love you, bro. We don't gotta tell you, but for right now, yeah, bro, your choices are kind of weird, So our next winner, Mark Del More. As Frankie Drinks, had the pleasure of meeting Dave Pickerel a few times. What was the last WhistlePig blend Dave worked on before his passing? He is missed. So, Ingrid, what was the last WhistlePig iteration that Dave worked on?
So it's kind of complex. Dave actually, so of course we have a bunch of boss hogs that are put aside and barrels that are put aside. And Dave was part of picking those barrels. So for instance, Magellan's Atlantic's came out this year. It's a 17-year aged barrel. There were people that were involved with it. He was involved in the original process. When you talk about official blends, he was in Florida earlier that year for a Whiskey Tampa Foxtrot out of Burn Steakhouse, and he picked a blend there. And I believe he picked 2 other barrels throughout the state before he passed away in San Francisco. But there's so much in between that. So because of the aging factor on whiskey, there could be stuff that comes out 5 years from now that he still had his hand in, whether it's our brand or someone else's brand, like Blackened or Redemption, or some of the other ones that are coming out that are his Pickerel picks. So also he kind of helped out with all the distilleries. I would say if you like his flavor profile, I will tell you that 20 port finish that you get on the Old World was one of his favorite finishes. So if you taste that in another whiskey, there's a high probability that was him that was involved in that.
Can I add something?
Right.
One thing is that the thing I love about WhistlePig is that it's unlike any ryes or whiskeys. I mean, especially with the 12s and 15s and all the Boss Hogs, you can't get that in any other ryes that I've had. And it's just the development of flavors and the nuances that come out, even for my palate, is just unbelievable. The flavors that just come out are incredible.
They're all very different. Anybody who's got any questions, please hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. I have no problem answering them. I love to move people through the whiskey palette. I also smoke cigars normally. I smoked like 3 this week. Probably a bad habit.
Hell yeah.
But I can do a lot of pairings based on the different types of wrappers and the different types of fill, like to get you to kind of respect rye. I also don't think that there's a way of saying you're going to like rye. You may not, but I would encourage you every few years to go back and try rye because your palate may have changed.
Well, listen, Ingrid, I've got the last question. Josh Ulam says, tell us a story behind the Boss Hog and why it's so special to the WhistlePig lineup.
Okay, I'm going to preface this by the fact that I've been drinking WhistlePig this entire time, and we got on the line at 6:30. So if I curse, I apologize.
Listen, we encourage cursing.
Let it rip.
Especially when I've started at 6:30 or before with WhistlePig as well. So let it fucking rip. Go, girl.
The story of Boss Hog goes back to what I said about Dave and Maker's Mark. They said that the American palate would never drink rye whiskey again. It was too spicy. There was nothing we can do about it. I was not part of WhistlePig when Boss Hog 1 came out, but this is the story that I heard. It could be a tall tale, but I kind of feel like based on the people that I know that this is true. They had some amazing barrels that were coming in at over 130 proof. And they really wanted to prove to Maker's Mark that they were wrong. They wanted to prove that you can drink a rye whiskey that isn't going to burn the back of your throat, that's still going to taste good, and it's going to hold up to the American flavor profile. I believe this was around a fire pit. WhistlePig does a lot of planning drinking whiskey around fire pits. And they decided to release those barrels as a special release. Under no circumstances when this first came out did we think that it was going to be an extension line to what we were doing. But Dave was like, I want to tell Maker's Mark that they're wrong, so we're going to release this. For any of you guys that have Boss Hog 1s, they're all 130 to 136 proof. They are the hottest ryes that you can possibly get your hands on. There are 4 distinct barrels that were released. It was also not that expensive back then because we didn't really know what we were doing, but it is absolutely delicious. And it was Dave's way of saying, I believe that the American palate is challenged enough to do this. I think that we can do this. I can tell you it is hot. It is delicious. I probably recommend taking really small sips when you first start it. If you get your hands on it, super hard to find. I've seen a couple of names come up here. I know you have Boss Hog one because I know you send me messages all the time. But then from that point forward, what we realized that Boss Hog really tells a story. So as you go through the Boss Hog line and you move into Spirit of Mortimer, which is when we started the tops, all the way through Magellan's Atlantic, we have rules behind that. So 1, has to be cask strength. 2, it can never burn the back of your neck. So you might get the burn in your mouth and you might get the burn in your chest, but it cannot burn the back of your neck. Has to be something unique that nobody's ever done. Has to be something that WhistlePig hasn't ever done. So some of you guys may be able to find an Ambarana single finish 12-year in the United States, but you're never going to find that triple barrel age that we have on Boss Hog 7. And then from there, it has to be the most stupendous thing that WhistlePig comes out with every year. There's a lot of people that are involved in the Boss Hog story and how we do that, from our master blender to our now head distiller and our quality assurance and the entire team. Super proud of the line, but not saying everybody's going to like it. You may absolutely love Homestock or Piggyback or 10-year or 12-year or 15-year. They're so completely different that I think that anyone who drinks WhistlePig will have their favorite. It may just not be somebody else's favorite.
Well, listen.
Or they might have several favorites.
Yeah, so, you know, we've got a plethora of favorites. So, first of all, I'm going to say congratulations to everyone who submitted their questions tonight. I'm going to say a special thank you to Dwayne and Jarrett from Omerta for joining us and for picking your WhistlePig signature barrel because I could send you my address and you could send me a bottle and we can work out some things, man, because I know some people at Drew Estate. So just letting you know, man.
We really like Drew Estate cigars, so I think a trade could be in order. Yeah.
We'll work something out, because I know you're low on pigs.
Sorry, I'll get it to Frankie eventually.
No, that's not going to happen, man. We're cutting you up, man. We're cutting you out.
Who runs Barter
Ryan?
Town?
This is going to go direct.
Master Blaster runs Barter Town.
Yeah, exactly. And my man, so thank you, Omerta Cigar, because you guys. What an amazing story of a murder cigar and your incredible collection. I definitely want to have you back on so we can talk whiskey, heavy duty, but we had such amazing guests, Ingrid and WhistlePig, and you guys were just such an amazing part of today. Mr. Rayford, I will say thank you for drinking WhistlePig 10. And smoking a flying pig because you know where it's at, and more importantly,
it was my last one, so I'm expecting a package to replenish my flying pig habit.
I'm going to
screen. I see 4 people capable of hooking that up. So y'all get it together. I don't know what you need to do.
Ship them to me.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the producer of the show, Mr. Jack Hayer, to take care of those items that are part of the production of this show. So yes, absolutely. Omerta, send me that bottle.
Thank you.
I need that barrel picked, man. Do not send it to Ryan. I'm going to repeat this. Do not send it to Ryan.
Stop being a hater for one moment in your life, bro.
I will send you some swag direct.
Okay.
Omerta.
Cigars.
There we go.
All right. So we got this. Joey Drew, 32, bro. 3-2 in a row.
Yeah,
Uh,
nonstop. It's
You've got
addicted
30
sips
fucking
forever.
seconds, bro. What are you fucking drinking?
I'm drinking Iberico.
Iberico. Why? Because
Well,
it is the pig night, right?
it's a pig night, so I got my pig mezcal.
And
this is-
what is Iberico? Tell us quickly.
It's magical. That's it. Magic in a bottle. It's like, imagine that fresh sliced Iberico ham, and you put it in your nose. You smell that wonderful flavor, all those great aromas. It's almost like Christmas in your mouth in a way, also. And it's
absolutely
super flavorful, super delicious. And on top of that, I'm smoking it with a cigar that Willie blended unknowingly that it was perfect for drinking mezcal with, which was 7123, which we don't know what it is yet, but we'll see. Because he knows what it is. I don't know what it is, but I know I like it.
We got Willie on the line. So listen, 7123 Iberico. That is the
Money.
Jose Andres Pata Negra Iberico ham that's been distilled with Damagüey mezcal. Listen, if you want to live, grab that shit because life-changing. Next up, I'm gonna thank my main guest, Ingrid Rodriguez, Sean Rodriguez, for being such a gracious guest on Under Sticks and Sips. Ingrid, it took me a while to get you on here. I'm so happy that you've been on. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. This was great. I hope everyone got some whiskey education. I encourage whiskey and cigars. It's a great combination. More people should do it. I'm looking forward to going out to OKC and drinking their whiskey, whether it's mine or somebody else's. Single barrels are a thing. I know where they all are, so ask me any questions that you may have.
I will meet you at Burn. And we'll
we
have
may have a Super Bowl barrel coming.
Oh, listen, let's talk about that because it's amazing. And listen, last but not least, my man, Rich Sly, congratulations, man. You were the rat of the year. This thing weighs a ton, brother. You were the rat of the year, and it's so well deserved. We love everything you do. We love your journey above everything else. And what you've had to overcome and what you do for the rest of the community. And we honor you tonight with WhistlePig and Flying Pigs. And Rich, I cannot say this anymore. We love you, brother. And for everybody, listen, next week, Thanksgiving, I have the honor of presenting Uncle Nearest with my good friend Tracy Franklin. Ingrid,
She's
Tracy,
amazing.
She's the most amazing thing. Tampa produces some killers, and you guys are so amazing. So tune in next week, Thanksgiving episode, Tracy Franklin and Uncle Nearest. And with that, Jack, what's left, dude? Show me the two final slides, man. You got 2 slides.
It's the good riddance portion.
Because right now we are facing some upcoming shutdowns. Guys, listen, support your local cigar shops like Omerta. Give them a call, get your stuff in, and get your local bars and support them because they're the ones, the hospitality industry keeps us alive. Do what you can to support them. We're in a crazy spot. But we're going to come out of it. Follow us, Drew Estate Cigar, Facebook, Frankie_drinks at Instagram, and check everybody that we tag out. We got WhistlePig, Ingrid, we got All the Smoke, Rayford, we got Omerta Cigars. Follow those guys because they're killing the game. And with that, Jack, are we out? This is it, guys. And with that, episode 32 is done. God bless you.